welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess.
That was so weird.
What? Okay, then cut! Hi everyone, my name is Jessica. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hi.
Hi everyone, my name is Jess and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my best friend Harmony.
Hi guys.
So I had this idea. I was listening to some podcasts about spooky stories, and I know that I have spooky stories and Harmony has a lot of spooky stories. So I asked her if she would come on so we could just like talk about them and like enjoy Halloween and just be spooky for a day. Hence the dark lipstick and the gray and black shirts. So we're feeling the season. Also, there's jack-o'-lantern behind here that I stole from my roommate.
Little jack-o'-lantern.
Little jack-o'-lantern. I have a story that I can tell, and Harmony has kind of a culmination of stories.
Yes, I have two.
She has two stories, so we're gonna try not make this like too long because she can talk. I'm not wrong.
I know.
So we'll let you go first.
Also, as a pretense, she has not heard either of these stories.
No, she tried to tell me in the car like 2 days ago, and I told her not to tell me because I wanted to be surprised.
So her reactions are genuine.
Genuine reactions.
Resume.
On the resume. My
Genuine
special
reaction.
skills is a genuine reaction. Thank you.
Okay, so spooky things happen to me all the time.
She's a spooky queen.
So as far as spirits,
Okay.
I am very in tune with the spiritual world. I have a very strong connection with people that try and connect with me. I can't talk to them. I'm not that
Like a medium.
No, I'm not that in tune, but I can definitely sense them and I can tell that they're trying to communicate with me. Weird things happen. I always say my family members, like my Uncle Scott who passed away is always playing jokes on me.
Okay.
Like always. I get so mad at him. Like things happen, I'm literally like, Uncle Scott, I swear to God. But it's
Swear to God.
it's so fun. It's so fun because it's one of those nice reassurances. Is like I know for a fact that he's still
they're
with
still
me.
there. Yeah.
Same thing with like my nanny that passed away in the same year. You know, like it's nice to have that strong connection, and then
It's like
with
spooky,
people.
more just like comforting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my personal experiences. I've never been really in touch with it or realized that it was a thing that was appropriate until really recently, actually, because when I was a kid, so like traveling back to when I was a kid, you know how everybody has like imaginary friends?
Yeah.
I never did, and I never understood why kids had imaginary friends. I specifically remember in kindergarten going home to my mom. I don't remember the name of this kid, but I was like, so-and-so at like recess told me that they had this friend, and then they were talking to them and no one was there, Mom. Like, how weird.
That's some creepy shit. I know, tap out.
And I remember being like, Mom, it was like, I was like, how dumb. And so then same thing with like Barbie dolls. I couldn't play with Barbie dolls because I was like, they're not moving or talking. And my sister would be like, yeah, like, and then she would pick it up and she'd be like, oh, how are you today? And I'd be like, why are you doing that?
Honestly, I was the same way though.
I
couldn't do it. I was like, I'm so bored.
It's so funny because like we obviously are in the creative profession.
She's an actress as well.
It's so like
computer program.
It's so interesting. Like we're very creative people and we have very imaginative minds, but like as a kid I was like,
I don't want to animate a Barbie doll. I want it to do the thing for me.
I would watch a commercial and I'd be like, why couldn't I buy that one?
The swimming mermaid one.
Yeah.
The pool that doesn't actually swim. You gotta like move it yourself.
Yeah, rude. Like false advertisement. So I used to get so frustrated with that stuff. And then, but my mom would she would brush it off. She'd be like, you clearly have imaginary friends. Like, she'd be like, well, the people that, you talk to in the backyard, like, aren't really there. And I was like, yes, they are. And so and so I don't remember this story personally, but my mom has since told me this story of I was in the backyard and our next door neighbor came over and was saying something about like her mother being in the hospital and blah blah, in hospice care actually specifically. I like came in and she's like, hi Harmony, how are you? And apparently I just said, oh, I was just talking to you know, and I said like the full name of her mother, and she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, she wanted me to tell you that it's okay. And then I went upstairs and played with my toys. And my mom was like, what? And then apparently like seconds later, that woman got the phone call that her mother had passed away. Like my mom will swear to this story, like no joke.
Yeah.
Like I don't personally remember that. And my mom said like I had to be like 6 years old.
Yeah.
Like so clearly I don't remember it. Like,
and you wouldn't be able to make that up either.
No, like my mom told me the story, but my mom didn't really ever tell me these things until we had moved to our house that we're now living in. Because I remember saying to my mom, like, I miss our one old house, but I don't miss that it was haunted, and you guys never believed me. And then my mom and my dad were like, well, Harmony, like, we should tell you, like, we didn't really want you to know those things.
To freak out while you were still living there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because my parents had good intentions, because my great-grandmother was schizophrenic. So when I started saying like, I'm talking to people that aren't there, my parents clearly were like, no, they're not. What are you talking about? Like, shut it down. Shut it down.
Oh.
And then when things like that happened that were very clearly unexplainable, they didn't understand. So when I moved into my one house, which was this really big old brick house with this huge land, we had a barn in the front yard. And within the 1 year of moving there, obviously we didn't have horses. Like,
what do you mean obviously? You could have had a horse.
Okay, I mean, okay, sure.
She
like,
didn't have a horse. If you have a horse,
I now live across the street from a horse farm.
Yeah, what the heck?
But okay, horses, whatever.
Pets. Anyways, going miniature horses.
So service animal, miniature horse. There was this big old red barn, and there were trees that lined our driveway, which was like half a mile long, and I hated it because I lived like in New York, very close to Canada, so like waiting outside for the bus was freezing.
Spoopy and cold.
Spoopy and cold. So within the first year of moving there, I was about 8. Yes, I was 8. And my dad accidentally burnt down the barn. And that's like a whole nother story. Like,
accidentally?
Yes, he did accidentally.
Accidentally.
Stop! The insurance people still claim.
Oh. Accidentally!
No, but really, he did. He burnt it down by accident. Okay, no, here's where it gets really weird. Okay.
She hasn't told me the story.
Okay, here's where it gets really weird. I was in.
She can't continue.
I was in my hip hop dance class.
That's why she. Been there.
Learning how to do the worm.
Not been there. I have not been there. Never mind.
I specifically remember this. And my mom like just shows up, and I was like, oh my god, like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, I'm an artist. Like, I'm doing my craft. Like, get out. Like,
the worm.
And yeah, the worm. Which I can still do, by the way. And
is that on your resume?
No. Oh my god, it should be.
Please put it on your resume. Goes to like an opera call. Like, can you do the worm?
Yes, actually. Yes, I can.
As you're doing it.
Oh my god, I'd be like, oh. Anyway, sidetrack.
That's how you do your vibrato. Anyways.
So he burnt down the barn.
Accidentally.
I came home and they're putting my dad in a cop car because obviously when something that extreme happens, there has to be someone to blame, and my dad was the only one on property. So, you know, he had to go in and like he had to go in downtown and like fill out the paperwork and do the claim and explain why, you know, obviously it was an accident. Like, that was all fine. But then so here's an 8-year-old kid walking up to their brand new house, seeing it, like
their dad being taken away in a
cop car, and like the barn that used to be there in like literally ashes, and my swing in the front yard was also currently in flames when I came home, and I was like, I was like, my dad.
What a mental image to keep throughout your life.
I was like, my dad built me that, and now he's gonna go to jail. It's on fire. It was so sad.
It's traumatic, actually.
I remember just being like, what? Like, what's going on? And my mom was like, just go inside. And I was like, how am I supposed to get to the front door? Like,
every house is on fire.
Everything was on fire. And so I go inside, right? So later on that evening, like, my dad comes home and he's explaining things, and
Not in jail.
No. He comes home and he's like explaining, and like my mom ordered pizza, and like we're just like joking around, and we're like, seriously, Dad, like what the heck? I am not a part of this because obviously then it starts getting into like boring adult conversation with my grandparents, whatever, and I was like, what?
Tap out, bye.
So I am sitting, we had these really big front windows. Because it was a very large house, and so we had these huge front windows, and I was just sitting there in the window, like just staring at like the.
I know where this is going. Damn. No, but also kind of.
So I was staring outside, looking at the barn, and like all the trees that like lined my house, and the front two trees were like, everything was still kind of smoky,
crispy.
Everything was still kind of smoky because it was a huge fire. Like, this was a huge barn. It like held like, God, I think like 16 horses. Like,
oh, it ain't no like backyard barn.
No, like it was a barn.
It was like a stable.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. It was very large. And so I'm just like sitting there and I'm staring at it, and I have no recollection of how, but I literally just all of a sudden go, Mom, and she's like, what, honey? And I was like, the barn's on fire. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, it's on fire. In the span of me sitting there staring at this thing, it went back up in flames, and so did all of the trees lining our driveway. So then our house was now like in danger of catching on fire. And I just like was like sitting there in the window, and I was like,
it's creepy, you know, right?
And so like,
Mom, I was watching the house and it's on fire now. Okay, kid.
So my mom's like, oh my God. So like they call 911, and my mom's like, go up to your room. And I'm like, okay.
Also, if you can hear things, my roommates are out in the kitchen, so sorry.
Anyway, so it like starts catching on fire, and so I'm like up in my bedroom, which was in the front of the house, so I could still see what was happening. So that was dumb of them to do, to try and like shield me. I was like,
you're like, oh, now I have a perfect view of what is going on.
Exactly. And so I was like sitting in my room like watching it all happen, and I just remember like faintly, this like old woman just like monitoring everything in my yard. And I remember like being like, huh, that's so weird. So when my dad, you know, like everything got like settled, my parents were like outside, so I started, you know, singing, like occupying myself, like singing in my room.
As you do, as a theater major.
And I went back downstairs because like there was pizza down there, obviously.
You gotta get the pizza.
So I go downstairs and I get the pizza, and we had these like this like china cabinet with like these glass doors in front of it, so it was like, it was so beautiful. And I could see a reflection of a man behind me as I'm singing, and I just like get this like sensation over me of like, keep going. And I was like, that's weird, like that's so odd. Now flash forward, like this was like, I think like a week later or something, you know, we're like digging up the roots and whatever of the foundation and stuff. You know, me and my dad are just like spending time together out in the yard.
Daddy-daughter time.
And we're digging, and I hear, it's like goosh in the front yard. And I was like, Dad, I hit a rock or something. He was like, oh, hold on, let me come over. So we're like, we dig past it and we're like brushing it off, and we realize that it is a grave.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes,
no,
it is.
I called it in my mind, and I didn't want you to say
found a grave, and we like couldn't make out the lettering, and like it had like a little, basically like this little divot, and I was like, I don't get it. And so when we dug further this way, there were like shards, so basically it would have been a flat grave that a cross stood up from.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so it must have fallen over the years, and then they built the
more land on top of it.
And then they built the barn on top of it. And those people have lived there for years.
And they just left, didn't they?
And then when they left and we moved in, the barn went up in flames. And so we had like called, and like we didn't call. Like my parents called and like asked about it, and apparently like the person that used to live there was an elderly woman, and she,
similar to the one that you happen to see outside of your window.
She had tended to the horses, and she had died. She was married to a man, and the man, I don't know why or how, but her husband committed suicide. So it was the man that I saw. And I saw him reoccurringly in the house constantly. My parents never affirmed that was true until after we moved out. And then I was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, all these years I thought I was insane. And
she just keeps seeing a man in her house, like, I don't know who it is, but she's chilling.
He was a very nice man. Like, he really liked to enjoy and listen to me sing. He was my first fan.
The first of many, mind you.
And so, I don't know. And so my parents like explained to me, they were like, no, you did that. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. And then when I got to college, we had met Alaric, which is a dear friend of ours, and she had explained that she has this like connection with spirits, and her and I had sat down and talked about it, and she like fully explained to me like these things that happen are normal, and like they do happen to people, and people experience them on different levels, like whether you believe in it or not, you know, like there is energy in this world, and like some people have different connections to it and stuff. And so like I thought that was fascinating. So recently I've come more in tuned and recognizing those things in those moments. So that's my spiritual spoopy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're currently at 20 minutes.
Oh, great.
So I might cut you off for this story, and then we'll do another one next time, because I want to put in my story too.
Okay.
Okay. So my story before I run out of battery, because she's hanging on by a dear thread. So my story, I don't know if I told you this one.
Okay.
I've only had like one like super spoopy encounter in my life where I'm like, that's a thing that happened. I saw a ghostie. It's only happened once. Okay. So in high school, I think I've told this story before, but I'm sure no one's watched a video because that was like 3 years ago. Anyways, so in high school, we were at the Florida State Thespian Conference, which is like a thing that like all of the high schools go to, and it takes place in downtown Tampa, which is where I'm from. Our show, we were doing Pirates of Penzance.
Okay.
LOL.
Throwback.
We got to bring our show to the state festival to perform at night. So when everyone
like the whole show?
Yeah, like the whole show.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so a couple like productions are chosen throughout the state, and like however many of them get to perform there. And so like at night, that's what everyone goes to do. They go to see a show.
So like each night it's a different show?
Each night it's a different show, and each venue is a different show. So there's multiple venues and there's multiple shows going on. So your thespian leader will like bring you to whichever show they pick. So people got to come see our show.
Come on, New York. Why can't we have done that? I would have loved that.
I know. It was really cool. And we actually did it twice because we had a matinee and a night. That show is really difficult to do twice a day. Let me just tell you. Anyway, so we got there in the morning to just do our run through because we'd never been in this space before.
Right.
And the Tampa Theater, if you don't know, that's where we were performing, is haunted AF. It's so bad. Like, there was a girl in our troupe who had seen something like 2 years prior of like, there's like a woman and she like shut a gate on her or some big story that like spread around the school, and we're all like, oh my god. So we were all like nervous already going in there because like, we know it's super haunted. And like growing up in Tampa, we'd go and see shows there and everyone would be like, it's haunted. Like, it's a thing.
It's like a thing everyone knows.
It's a thing everybody knows, that it's super haunted. So we were there. And I was so excited when this happened because I was like, finally, I could finally say it happened. I was like, yes. So we were on stage just doing like a run through, like a spacing rehearsal just to get used to the space. And I remember I was on stage, right, just like hanging out with my friends. We were just like standing there while our director was like talking or something. I was ignoring it. I don't know. Just like running through scenes. And at the back of the theater, there's 2 staircases. There's one that goes up here and one that goes up here. So if you're on the stage here, you look out to the audience, 2 staircases. That's it. So on the left staircase, I remember I looked over and I saw a lady in a white dress, like a long white dress, which at the time wasn't weird because all of our dresses were long white dresses because we were doing Pirates of Penzance.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, so I haven't told you the story. Okay,
She blended in, she camouflaged. No, I've never heard you tell this story.
Okay, good. So I see a lady in a white dress going up the stairs, and we weren't in costume or anything, so it wasn't anyone that I knew. I was like, that's weird, but it didn't like stick out majorly.
Right.
However, in the amphitheater, when you go upstairs, there's nowhere really else to go except to like the bathroom or like into the audience.
Like for the balcony?
Yeah, for the balcony.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, you go into the audience. Like that's really all there is up there. And she never went into the audience. Like she just went up the stairs and was gone. She never came back down. She just went up and that was it. And so at the time I was like, okay, I think this happened. I think this is the thing. Put it in the back of my mind. I don't think I really told anybody that happened, but I was just like, this is weird. This is not like normal. So what got me was the next week we got back to school and we were just sitting in the auditorium and so we were just sitting in the auditorium and I was sitting in front of like these people that were talking about like ghost encounters at the Tampa Theater. I was like, oh, I like had a similar encounter, and I saw like a lady in like a white dress and it was weird, and she's like, you know, that's like a known thing that's been seen there. And I was like, what? So that night I went home and I like Googled the Tampa Theater like ghost sightings, and the most
photographs?
I don't know if there's photographs, but there was like stories of people like saying it. And the most common occurrence like to see at the Tampa Theater is a lady in a white dress on the 2nd story. And I was like, I did it! I saw the thing! I was so excited. So I was like, I finally have a story to tell people. And so I like looked it up, and apparently like there was, before it was a Tampa Theater, there was like a bride there, and I guess she like threw herself into the street on her wedding day or something. Really dramatic, like really tragic, and
That's so dramatic.
I know.
I love it.
I need to like look more into the details of it, but basically that's what happened. She like jumped off the top story and then died in the street on her wedding day, and so that's why she's seen in a wedding dress on the 2nd floor of the Tampa Theater.
Also, that poor man.
I know, like, was he though poor though? Because if she didn't want to marry him that bad. That's my story, and that's the only like, and I've had like other encounters with things like that night when we were at the Tampa Theater. Like we went up because we were looking for somebody, and me and my friend both got really super spooked. We were in the bathroom and we just like thought we saw something move, and I like looked at them. I was like, did you see something? And they're like, yeah, did you? And so we were both
and
like,
you were like,
bye. And I was like, is it just like out of the corner of your eye you see something move? And I'm like, no one else is up there. Like we were looking for our friend who wasn't up there. Like obviously like they were downstairs, and we just saw something like just like a flicker like in the corner of your eye, and we're both like, you saw that, right? Yeah. Okay, bye. We're out. We're out. So we got the fuck out of there. Like, oh my god. So really haunted place. But that's my
that is so
story.
cool, and I want to go.
Yeah, no, we should go. It's actually like it's beautiful.
Oh my god,
it's beautiful. If you guys want to look it up, like it's a gorgeous theater.
I'm hyped.
Gorgeous, but it's really haunted. Really haunted.
I have a feeling I'm gonna have a dream about her or something weird tonight.
We'll find out her name. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I don't know what her name would be. For some reason, like Marion sticks out, but I also was singing Music Man yesterday, so that might be why. So that's my scary story. I hope you liked Harmony's spooky stories. If you want to see more from us, we don't have to do this just around Halloween.
Yeah,
because like obviously Halloween
I have
is like
a lot.
She's got a lot. I don't have many, but I love listening to scary stories. I listen to so many podcasts about scary stories because I just like being freaked out.
Oh my gosh, lore.
Lore. I was hyping it up yesterday too.
Wait, I have to know his name.
Andrew Menke.
I'm Aaron Menke.
Aaron Menke.
I have to like hear it in my head.
Listen to like 100
I'm Aaron
episodes.
Menke, and this is lore.
So good.
It's so good.
And also, and that's why we drink podcasts. I told you about that yesterday. Go listen to it. We should make a podcast.
I swear to God.
But I'm not wrong. That would be so much fun. If you guys want to see us make a podcast, let me know. We have no time to do that at all. But you know, option,
when?
I don't know. I don't know how we have time right now to film it. It's because we both don't have class. Except you have class in like soonest, right?
I guess. Yeah, probably.
I guess. Okay, well then we'll end this. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank Harmony. Go check her out on Instagram. I'll put her thing in the description, her Instagram handle. Mine will be right here because I already have a little thing made for it. So, let's go medley. Wow. There it is. So, yeah.
Why do I hang out with you?
Because you love me.
I do. Why?
She does.
Why?
Well, thanks for being on my YouTube channel.
Oh my god, I loved it.
She's been on it before, but just in vlogs. So like this is just like sit down hangout sesh.
Yeah.
So yay. Okay, well I'm gonna end this, but thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye.
Go subscribe below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Hand.